Is self-improvement a lie? Is it all fake? Is it all stardust sprinkled in the customer's face just to kind of let him buy a book, a workshop, a webinar, and the real result of this is, the entrepreneur or the company getting richer, but the customer, the client, the creative, just, staying where he is and where he was before he was, entering the self-improvement temple, right? So is self-improvement a lie? Is it really obtainable? Is it worth the money, the time, the effort? Or is it just marketing? Is it just like a new way, a new label, a new tag to say, get better, otherwise get lost? Welcome everybody to Open Class Doodles, episode 29. This is the COACHMC studio. This is the place where we'll help you act as performers, entertainers to shape unique behavior deliveries, and where we'll help you to stand out in the audition room, no matter where the audition takes place or what you're auditioning for, because in the end, it's all about communicating your ideas in the most effective, impactful and intriguing and compelling way, and therefore shaping what's most recognizable and unique about you, and not caring too much about the others. They will follow as soon as you launch the new trend, the new vibe, the new sensation. And this is what we're all here for, to be sensational performers, no matter where, no matter what. And now, let's explore today's topic and let's see what's cooking. Yes, I know it sounds a bit radical and it sounds a bit heretic also, and in some way also unorthodox, right? I'm a coach and I'm now claiming that self-improvement is a lie. What's going on? Now, first of all, welcome everybody. Welcome chat. Welcome on Facebook. Welcome on Instagram. Welcome Laura. Thank you so much. Ciao Lorenzo, un grande abbraccio dall'Italia. Thanks so much for stopping by. Thanks so much, everyone. It's a great opportunity again to talk about what's most intriguing about, the art life, the self-improvement, kind of exploring who we really are in this process without taking us too seriously, by all means, right? It's of course us proposing a product, but there are millions of others, billions of others proposing maybe a very similar, even better product. So it's all about realizing, hey, we're a sandcorn in the universe. If NASA is right, and usually NASA isn't right, but hey, that's another story. But everybody claims that planet Earth is at least 4 billion years old, and that the universe is at least 20 billion years old, 23.7 to be exact, right? So everything is super, super ancient and exists since the, beginning of eternity almost. So we're with our 72 years on average lifespan, we just represent a little fraction of all this. Hey, Annie, welcome everybody. It's so great. Good evening, Lorenzo. Greetings from your favorite Büttnerrednerin. Yes, thank you so much. So for everybody who's not aware what a Büttnerrednerin is, when you have carnival in Germany and Switzerland and also in Austria, there is this very ancient tradition, right? That there is one of the great fools, right? One of the fools, one of the comedians, one of the people who want to speak up. They gave this, they hold this speech about the whole year and about carnival, about the festivities. And usually these are very funny in rhyme, like poetry speeches. You could say it's almost like a folkloristic ironic comedic rap, something, in that type of ballpark. And so this is what she's practicing. This is what we also been working on. And hey, since you're here, you're most welcome to smash the like button, because it helps. I mean, we just, we always repeat that, but it helps. It definitely helps to support our cause. And for you, it's 0.00036 calories. So just smash the like button. Thank you so much. Give us some likes, because it just shows YouTube what you appreciate. It gives the algorithm like some, indications about what you cherish, and it definitely helps us, because then the algorithm knows, on the COACHMC, he's getting a lot of likes. So smash the like button, just let it explode. All right, I'm super pumped about today's episode, because, like I said, it's beautiful to be alive, for sure. It's beautiful to have, time to kind of share with others collectively on this planet, to create and do amazing stuff. For me, art is the ultimate frontier. Art is the reason why I'm here, why I was born, I feel. And therefore, you know, just to practicing that, just to be able to do that is already a huge privilege. But of course, we want to get better, right? Or at least this is the question that I'm posing. I'm playing devil's advocate because of that reason, because I don't think we should take ourselves too seriously all the time. There should be always an occasion throughout the year, throughout your life, right? To always step out of the functioning mode, of the role that you decided to play. Because, hey, let's face it, psychology round, ding dong, we are all playing roles. We are all wearing masks, and these are all actors, and we're just living a big ass movie. Thank you. Ding dong. This is exactly what we do. We're living a movie. And so we decide what type of movie we want to live. You know, I could, you know, just get up tomorrow and change radically everything about my life, my behavior, my outfit, my exterior, everything. And nothing could stop me from doing that. That's the ultimate liberty. So everybody who's complaining, my life is so miserable, just think first, please, and then speak later. Because the freedom that we enjoy as human beings has never been so high on this planet, even though there are very nefarious companies, societies, and other, you know, entities out there, just because of the matter of how everything is built. I'm not saying that there is some sort of evil conspiracy, even though there is. But no, besides that, I do believe that everything kind of evolves the way we admit it to evolve. That means if we allow things to happen to us, we allow them to happen. There is not a bad person that does that to us, right? It's us also taking responsibility about the good stuff that needs to happen in our life, that we want to happen. And so that is also part of our endeavor to kind of realizing, hey, it's my power. That doesn't mean that I'm the God and everybody should listen to me. It's just my power to decide whatever life I want to live. So therefore, I'm asking the question, I'm proposing this today. Do you believe that self-improvement is a lie? Is it necessary? Do we need self-improvement at all? What is self-improvement ultimately? And I have a couple of slides today, and of course my doodle, because this is open class doodles, and that's why I have a tactical doodle of success. How to get, across this problem, if it's a problem, just, maybe just illustrate this train of thought a bit more. This is rather the better explanation for my doodles. I'm just trying to kind of put a magnifying lens on top of the talent, on top of the creation, on top of the pocket of creativity, and kind of see what's there. Of course, it's my subjective perspective. Everybody is free to see, and to interpret whatever he or she wants to interpret, and that's perfectly fine as well. Hey Sylvia, deine Tochter Valentina ist heute. Okay. So there is a colleague of mine returning to the show. Thank you, Sylvia. But I do this now, and I'm the coach, and therefore I just love this type of concept right now more than anything else, because it gives me the great opportunity to talk directly to you guys. So welcome everybody. Ciao, Gianni Fabrizio. Ciao to the Facebook community. Ciao Italia. Ciao Instagram. Ciao America. Ciao everybody. So is self-improvement really doable, and why should it be obtainable? Why should it be obtained in the first place? Right? What is the secret behind self-improvement? Now, let's take a look at this doodle of mine that I've created for you guys. So in life, usually we set big goals. Nothing bad about it. And, we should set them at a time where we think like, okay, 10 years from now, 5 years from now, 20 years from now, I think I can achieve those goals. I think I can make it happen. And then once we have that result and we refuse to be a victim, like I wrote quite, eloquently down here, if we set big goals and we refuse to be a victim, we get to the core of things. If you stay consistent about something over a long period of time and you drill and drill and drill, and of course you don't repeat the mistakes, you implement your experience, I'm talking out of common sense here, right? Then most likely you will achieve those goals. Maybe not exactly like you said, maybe even better, who knows? But that's already pretty much it. So has that anything to do with self-improvement? What do you guys think? Like setting big goals and just being, consistent about it. And by doing so and improving, of course, through the implementation, I'm not talking about self-improvement. I'm just, improving whatever service you were rendering in order just to make it better. Then most probably you will get, to achieve that goal. Is that self-improvement though? It's improving the service, you could argue. It's not really yourself. And then you could also ask, why does that matter if I improve myself or just a product? It matters because it's your time. That's the whole argument is based on time, guys, and nothing else. And therefore, I could answer the question of today, the topic of today's show right away. No, it's not a lie. Self-improvement is not a lie. Why should it be? Because, of course, there's always someone lazy who will claim to have a shortcut. There's always somebody who will tell you, hey, you know what? It's not necessary. Just be result-driven, right? What is it that you want? $2 million. Okay. What is every year? Okay. So what is the task that gets you $2 million a year? And then you can choose from the tasks and then kind of break down the processes. And by repeating them, it reinforces your belief that you can do it. And you kind of, closed the chapter. And this is how you get to the money. But does this self-improve you? Does it matter? Yes, in my opinion, yes, because it's still time that you're investing, and this is the point that I'm making. And once you invest time, you can't just invest time to make money. That would be suicidal at a certain point, because you see it over and over again. If you think that this cycle is going to be successful for you in your life, then please open up a history book, because history is filled with icons, superpowers, and incredible people and thinkers of the past that felt miserably because they couldn't translate that monetary success into a spiritual success. And that's pretty much the end of the well, or the beginning, right, of the genesis of yourself. Because if you invest time, it should be worth your time, guys. Again, if NASA is right, and probably it isn't, I'm just saying, right? They're discovering every year that the universe, we're adding pretty much every 365 days, we're adding 1 billion years to the creation of the universe. It's true. Look it up. So, by 2030, I guess we've added another couple of billion years. And so it's going to be 50 billion years by 2030. I promise you that. We will see us here on YouTube, fact checking. And let's say 35 or 40 billion years. Do we know how much time that is? No. We can't even fathom to start to imagine the shrapnel of what 40 billion years, of what it consists. Think of the stuff that you can do in 24 hours. Now, this is perspective. This is what I'm talking about. It's your time investment. Yes, being result-driven is great, because definitely it streamlines the process. It helps you to break down unnecessary, or break away unnecessary chunks of your creation that should lead to you to success and monetary freedom and all that. But definitely the reason why we do this is not just the nature of the number, because there is no number to your time. Does that make sense? There is no number to freedom, to life, to time that we have at our disposal here on planet Earth. And don't get me, I'm young, I need to listen. Yeah, young is a very relative concept. I see young people being very successful already, and other young people that are super foolish and don't realize what kind of privilege they're experiencing just by being alive on this planet. I mean, imagine the mathematical odds, right, that are necessary in order to create life. It's 1 to 140 trillions, I believe, in that ballpark. That the semen actually, gives birth, right, ultimately. So that, this process of being alive already is an incredible gift. And self-improvement means nothing else than taking this gift and making the best out of it. What does that mean? Well, it means that take into account what is your result, streamline the process for sure, reinforce the belief through repetitive actions that you can create the structures, and you can, put a structure into place that works for you, because everyone is different. What I'm trying to say is that, yes, we can read all these books, learn from all these webinars and search through all these different, experiences of these great masters that are teaching us, these great coaches, and we know all the names, right? They sold millions of books. I don't need to repeat the names. And yes, I'm jealous. That's why I'm not repeating the names. It's my precious. No, I'm not jealous. I'm super happy for them. But sometimes I feel that we lose, because of all these transactional and functional and super cool things that you can implement every day into your workflow, into your daily habits. And you should this, and then meditate, and then journal, and then go out for a hike, and then you do breath work, and wow. Again, we are in this machinery of functioning. And what is it good for? If the ideas that we have are just, serving the purpose of the status quo and not something that is coming out of a authentic experience of being alive and kind of enjoying every day. Because sometimes if you, flirt with the problem too much, then you get enamored in the process of thinking, oh, how can I solve this problem? It's so beautiful. You're getting used to it. It's a ritual, right? So therefore, you don't even realize rationally, actively, consciously that your body craves for those moments where those neurochemicals get, triggered into your system and released from your brain. That those hormones that we love to, to experience when we are in control over a situation, even though that situation per se doesn't propel us forward in our development. And while we're at it, and while we're talking about development, let me just address this. April 27th, that means Saturday, we have a marvelous masterclass happening. It's live, it's on Zoom, everybody can join. Registration is for free. It's gonna be 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's gonna be by, led by my humble self, and giving you the tools that you need for the future to really breaking down the script in an effective and powerful way, whatever script we're talking about. Of course, there are differences if I'm communicating just, something to my board, but I'm talking about monologues, scripts, like really to understand what's written there and making the connection between the reader, your center line, opening yourself up, and to the words of the author as effective, as fast, and impactful as possible. I promise you, it's going to be a great masterclass. So join us. You just can register very easily through my beautiful Eventbrite link that is down there in the description. Yeah, it's that easy. And once you've registered, you're going to be banned from YouTube for your life if you don't show up on Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, noon. Maybe I lied there. Who knows? But something in that. It tells me that my bad I could even, no, I don't want to do that. So if you register, what I want to say with this slight derail is I would highly appreciate if you also show up, because of course if we see a lot of registrations over here, Alessandra, my wife, and I and myself, like we think of course of the more people register, we think of also slightly changing the duration, what we say, what we love to insert, so we prepare a different presentation and then you guys don't show up. It's devastating, really frustrating, really bad. Don't do that to us, right? We have enough to do during the week, believe me. No, I'm joking. It's just marvelous. The more we are, the more energy we feel, the more we can connect. Of course, there's always the chance to network. There's the chance to talk to each other, ask questions. So it's really more fruitful as a collective to work, and to be focused on one topic if we are, like really present that day, and more people are there. Of course, at a certain point, it's too much, but I think we still have room left, right? There's still space up there. So definitely be part of that beautiful creative community. And you can also register, of course, through readytoperform.com. Hit us up also for a discovery session, right? So let's dive into this doodle a little bit. What is self-improvement? You can break down self-improvement in 4 essential categories. And then, of course, there are ramifications and other manifestations of this, but actually, it's just 4 categories. So everybody who's making it too complicated just likes to sell you stuff, right? He's not really upright about his intentions, right? He's trying to, get more time out of you. I'm joking. Of course, there are some courses and some workshops and some things that I myself, right, attend, and I like to get in as much information as I can, because I truly believe that by collecting information, kind of reflecting upon it, this is great stuff. But sometimes I realize that certain things are known already, or some workshops are artificially inflated a little bit just to kind of gain more time and to kind of make it seem through more. I'm not saying that the content is bad, but they liquefy it so much because they think they have to blow it up artificially to make it seem more valuable, to make it seem more appealing, or it would kind of, qualify their expertise. It's not. Volume is not always what matters. It's really the consistency of delivering high value, high quality, as condensed as possible because we have no time, guys, right? We just established that that's the most precious thing. So let's not waste any time. And therefore, I feel like some of these resources, sometimes they're artificially blown up and they're kind of missing the point in the first place. So when we're talking about self-improvement, there is the mental aspect, of course. And I wrote belief down here because I think belief is a mentally driven attitude. Why? Because belief is not necessarily faith, and faith, although can be reinforced through belief. And what I mean by that, even if that sounds a bit convoluted, is very easily explained. If you repeat an action, and by just, repeating that action and seeing a certain result, there is a pattern recognition that your brain absorbs, and therefore you realize that you are able to do something. Now, let's say that you get also, the reaction, the feedback from your audience, from the people that are perceiving your art, wherever you're displaying it, and all these different points of information that you receive, they will just, add to that initial pattern recognition. And therefore, that repetition is already the cornerstone for your belief. Through that, you gain strength, you gain stretch, and you get, you kind of animate your senses. This is really who you are. And it comes from a mental aspect. It is your brain that recognizes the repetition. Of course, your body at a certain point will repeat the muscle memory, but it's your brain that reinforces the belief, and the body just craves for the energy, for the neurochemicals, for all these beautiful, electric transmitters that then we inject into our system whenever we are kind of building these new neural pathways, right? Because our brain connects every time we're doing something new, every time we're making an experience, every time we're recognizing a pattern, whether it's reinforcing an already existing synapse like a knot, or it creates a new one. Whenever the new one gets created, that's a very exciting experience for our brain, right? It's wow. And that produces a neurochemical that our body craves at a certain point. So we get really addicted to self-improvement over time. That's true as well. The thing about the belief is that people get this twisted sometimes. They think, hey, you know what? If my belief is not there, then I can't be really driven by anything, right? So they're looking to confuse belief with purpose, which are two different things. Belief is just recognizing the pattern. Purpose is something way deeper that not necessarily should be or must be connected to what you do all the time in order to be happy about what you do. What I mean is sometimes we have transactional moments in our creative life, and that's okay and fine too. Not every interaction in our artistic life that might take 50 years needs to be super, super meaningful and heavy and epic, or super artistic. Sometimes, actually, I would suggest half of the time, not most of the time, but really half of the time. Think about getting color on a canvas. There are a lot of technical and transactional processes that need to be, kind of taken care of before you can even start expressing your art. That doesn't mean, though, that stuff isn't meaningful to you. Of course, because it's a ritual, setting up your canvas, priming it, preparing your brushes, cleaning your palette, all that. It's transactional, but it's still, of course, purpose-driven because it's a ritual that initiates the painting process. And the same thing is true for everything. So just because you repeat something and recognize that you get better at it, and therefore that reinforces your belief, and therefore you get more strength, it doesn't mean that it's necessarily something that is always purpose-driven. It could be something that just leads up to that. And there are many examples in our everyday life where I see people doing the transactional stuff with no love, with no passion, with no attention, right? I don't want to, criticize or go on a rant here. It's just that everything that you do, and you do with a certain, with a certain belief, whether it's like waiting a table somewhere in the Midwest in an obscure village, or dining with the, top 500 people somewhere like on Madison Avenue, and what is this fancy local there? 511 or something like that, like a 3-star Michelin restaurant where the who is who of New York meets regularly for their dinner parties. It doesn't really matter. It's what you get out of it, what you extract out of these two singular experiences. I've done this pretty much. This is self-reflectionary. I've waited table somewhere in obscure places, and also at those 3-star Michelin occasions. And, sometimes the small things are more meaningful than the obvious big and lush and posh things, right? But that's like mundane knowledge. Just to remind you that self-improvement has nothing to do with the occasion itself. It's how you do what you do. And that brings us to the next, aspect, which is tactical. Because at a certain point, when you realize what you're capable of and you have the belief that now you can do it, then you will stand your enemy. Think of the Matrix, the movie Matrix, kind of, when Neo finally stops running and faces Agent Smith. This is where everybody, like, if you remember in the Nebuchadnezzar, that were, watching, Neo just not running away from Agent Smith in the subway and asking themselves, what is he doing? And Morpheus calmly responded, he's finally starting to believe in himself, something like that, right? He's believing in himself, something like that. And that was amazing, right? Because it's true. It's how you do it. The tactical gives birth to the technical then, because once you've assessed what you want to do, you need to assess where you need to improve in order to kind of, do that, right? So you need to learn new skills, of course. You need to fail, of course. You need to try again. Sure, and to implement whatever you learn. So it's pretty much the same system that applies the first time. Now, from the mental, though, we are in the physical world. Because first it starts here, and then it gets adapted here. Does that make sense? And if we take care of the physical, if we always stay healthy, we can repeat the cycle for a long time during our lives. And this is what self-improvement is in a nutshell. Just repeating, the singular exercises of these 4 elemental pillars. And just ask yourself, like, who are you? Are you a fighter, or are you a victim? You just want to accept that something is against you, that you can see, that you can smell, that you can taste, like in a movie Matrix, or you want to take some action. You want to act upon that. You want to start, surrounding yourself with great people and finally become and create something that is amazing. It's because you are becoming what you're capable of if you put this all into practice. And this is self-improvement. And that goes without saying that, of course, what is the reason for me telling you this? In life, we are always children of our time, right? We're kids that are growing up in different time epochs, and there's always going to be a new trend. There's always going to be new fashion. There's always going to be new style. And that's rightfully so, because everybody develops art out of his own perspective with his own, and there's always new talent coming up, new talent being born, new talent following in the footsteps of the older talent. thing is that when you do that, when you follow in the footsteps, you have to understand that even though you think you're alone, you're not. This is always a collaboration. I want you to help understand that you're not alone. And it's as a result of that, it's always a result of a collaboration. It's not about you all the time. Take this with humor. Take this with the right, grain of salt. Self-improvement, having success, monetary freedom, creating great art, being recognized, winning the Oscars, whatever that is, whatever that ultimate bucket list looks like, right? That picture, whatever you have in mind. It's understanding that by the very definition of your mission, you're already telling yourself who you think you are. And now you just have to prove it to yourself that you can become that person. And believe me, this is one of the greatest, most earth-shattering moments in your life, because it can happen also pretty quickly. It's not something that, is unobtainable, or it's just, there are many of those, milestones coming up once you achieve the first one. You won't believe you do the first one, and once you break through the first one, many other will follow. Way more than you would ever have thought of would appear in the first place in your life. And this is the great teaching behind the self-improvement movement. This is what we coaches do, is to make you realize that it's absolutely attainable. And I want to show you something that I found this morning while I was preparing the open class doodle today. And by the way, you're most welcome to smash the like button once again if you stop by this beautiful content. Also to the Facebook and to the Instagram crowd. Why don't you join our beautiful community over here on YouTube? Bum, 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 bum. And you subscribe to the channel, because it's just a little thing that goes such a long way to support our endeavors. Support our endeavors by subscribing to the channel. It was a little public service announcement. I'm sorry for that. Just place the money on the table, right? It's a very, it's a very tough moment for me right now to expose myself like that. No, I'm just joking. Thanks so much, guys, for being here and giving me your time. So, let's jump into Instagram really quick. I found this today, and I saved it immediately because I thought this is an incredible story. So, a man, nothing strange here so far, named Göran Kropp. That's maybe a bit stranger. This fellow right here, Göran Kropp, I hope I pronounce this right, from Sweden, rode his bicycle to Nepal, and he climbed Mount Everest alone, without Sherpas. These are the local guides that you can hire there. There are some base camps, and you can hire local guides who know, of course, all the routes, all the little pathways, and observe Mount Everest every day, so they know, if there are weather changes, stuff like that. So, but he did this without local guides, without any help whatsoever, or any bottled oxygen. No oxygen bottles. And then he cycled back to Sweden. Again, of course, because this is what you usually do. You get up in the morning, you ride your bike to Nepal, you climb Mount Everest without any Sherpas or bottled oxygen, and then you cycle back with your bicycle from Nepal to Sweden. Just to give you a context, guys, for everybody not knowing how far Sweden is from Nepal, it's really far away, guys. It's really far away. Thousands and thousands and thousands of miles. Grazie per la diretta, Lorenzo. Serena Tesinato ci scrive, io la guarderò direttamente su YouTube perché adesso sono ancora al lavoro, quindi commenterò direttamente l'internet. Approfitto anche per farti i complimenti per il disegno che hai fatto e vedere nel video di martedì. Saturday, anche su Saturday Night Hypnosis, bravissima Serena. Yes, every Saturday. And guys, this Saturday, on the Saturday Night Hypnosis, let me just remove this really quick. This Saturday on the Saturday Night Hypnosis, we have Eric July from the Ripperverse. And I think I can even start to, I think I will, like next week, I will still be thinking, is this true? Is this true? Like, has this really happened? I mean, we started 89 episodes ago with this beautiful show. We were 4 people. Hypnotic had like 5,000 subscribers. Now he has 40K. Only me and our little channel stayed behind, unfortunately. No, but it's amazing how far we have went with this show. We had incredible guests, director Axe, Josiah Rising, Melanie Mack. Now we have 9 panel members, 10 panel members. Our shows have hundreds and hundreds of views, and it's concurrent viewers and thousands of views afterwards. It's just amazing what happened just by staying consistent. This is exactly what we're talking about. This is exactly what we're talking about today. Thank you, Serena, for making that comment, because truly what we created with the Saturday Night Hypnosis, I mean, it's Hypnotic's channel. It was his idea. He called us. But of course, the collective contribution, this is exactly what I'm talking about, is through the consistency what will give success to your endeavors, whatever that is. How can a guy just stand up and ride to Nepal, climb Mount Everest without Sherpas and oxygen bottles, and then cycle back to Sweden again? Why has that anything to do with purpose? I mean, of course, we could, dig into his life and maybe find out that he had some traumas he wanted to fight with this incredible act, right? With this incredible experience. Maybe there's like a sickness, or maybe it was something ritualistic, or maybe we will find out that he was just in the mood of doing it, that there was no big purpose behind all this. Does it really matter though? He did it. He proved it. Now somebody else needs to prove something like that because it's so crazy if you think about it, right? We are so attached to our lifestyle, to our repetitional habits, and to everything. Like, imagine preparing yourself for riding your bike to Nepal, which is like an incredible, it's in the Hindu Kush region. It's northern India. It's right there with Tibet, and it's one of the highest. It is the highest mountain range region in the world, and some of the highest peaks are there. We're talking about East Asia, guys, right? And Sweden is part of Europe, and from Europe to Nepal by bike is an amazing, astonishing thing to do already. And it's definitely one of those bucket list things. But then also to climb the highest peak, come down and climb it also in the fashion he did, quite flawlessly. And just riding back. It's one of the coolest things I've ever came across. It's just flabbergasting. Hey, Mirko Trincheri, Bea, wünsche dir auch noch einen schönen Abend. What are you thinking about this guy? Why am I mentioning this today? Because it perfectly represents what we're talking about. It's not that. It's improving, getting better. You have to regulate your whole body in order to climb a mountain and to ride your bike for thousands of miles. You have to kind of think of all the transactions that your body does, all the mechanisms, everything. And that just goes through the experience of really getting in contact with who you are, like really getting to know yourself. And not being distracted by the noise, not being distracted by jobs, not being distracted by any appointments. It's what we do in order to get to know ourselves better is exactly the outcome that we will receive outside of ourselves. The more, and I think the deeper we dive into ourselves, the clearer we get in touch with what we really want, what we really appreciate, and the more information we collect, genuine, beautiful, original information, because this is something that you just don't do, You didn't just ride your bike thousands of miles. You stay in your comfortable zone for many, many, many years. You prevent yourself actively, right? Of course, there are adventures that, and kind of nice trips that you can do throughout the year, but just think of like really detaching yourself from the grid. Am I advocating for this in this episode? No, definitely not. But yes, definitely. And this is it's not an oxymoron. I'm not fooling around with you. I'm not joking. If this is not the reason I'm making the show, but the reason why I'm making the show is that you believe that you're not just here to function. And everything that gets you out of that belief system and makes you more perceptive, more open, more sensorically in tune and attuned with your surroundings, the better this experience will be, the better your product will be, the better your life, our life will be. It's a very egoistical thought that I'm having right now. No, but it's truly that, because art lives from that. It's art lives from the process of cleaning yourself out and kind of, looking at stuff that everybody takes for granted from a different perspective and coming up with a different solution with beauty, but also with something that conveys an idea. Because art needs to be beautiful. Otherwise, it's not art. Let's not fool around about that. You need an exquisite delivery. You need an exquisite formation. You need an exquisite, I'm looking for the right words. Like, what you do as an artist should be exquisite. It should be highly valuable. It should be beautiful. You should aim at beauty for sure. But beauty is not the only reason you're doing this. It's not the end of the street. It's one of the beautiful stations of this beautiful travel, of this great travel. It's not the end station. This is not where the voyage stops. You need to convey an idea as well. You need to tell a beautiful, compelling story, something that moves, inspires people, something that makes people wonder why they're here in the first place. Make them contemplate about life or about something very small. It doesn't matter. Just take them off the usual hunting grounds. And you can't do that by always staying in the same hunting ground for yourself. So yes, I'm advocating for taking your time out of the grid whenever you feel it is necessary. But that is not the sole purpose of you being here. This is what I'm trying to do, because you can get addicted of that idea and being constantly on the right. And then again, we're in this purpose purpose hunting loop where we're, constantly on the chase, on the hunt of hunting down our purpose instead of just being happy by producing something that we love, right? Because if you swing, to the extreme again, then of course you lose your golden middle, you lose your guidance, you lose your compass. So both things are true as a paradox. And this is ultimately what self-improvement is. And self-improvement ultimately brings success. Once we've explored what we have as a result in mind, and we deem that to be a reasonable, and that is our mission. That is, I want to have success, nothing else. So my success needs to, I want to have success in what is it that I can do? I can speak fast, I can speak quick, I can sell. All right, let's have success in selling. Or I'm good in impersonating. I'm good in kind of, doing funny voices and telling jokes. And, I have a funny way of moving. Let's have success in comedy. So let's break down all the processes that I need in order to have success in comedy or success in selling. No, I'm great with colors. I have a great taste. I can spend hours and hours and being focused on one task only. So let's become like a modelist, a hobby modelist, or a painter, or a developer of models, or something that kind of gives you that that possibility to hone your love, your urge for doing these things, right? To be detail obsessed and all that. This is how you reverse engineer it. Not by searching for something mysterious and mystical, like for that ectoplasmic enlightenment cloud that one day you will find, and that will turn you into a better being. Thank you so much. Yes, Serena says, you've created a great opportunity. Community. Yeah, baby, a great opportunity for the community. So today's episode is also a bit shorter than the other ones because I really wanted to kind of give you like a high condensed way of looking at this. In the end, the truth is always yours. It's what you like to apply. And if you're just truthful about the information that you get as a feedback, and then you realize what you need to change in order to make it better, then, you know, this is pretty much it. But why is it so hard? I think this is the question we should all pose to ourselves. For people nowadays to just be that resilient and constant and consistent and committed at the same time, right? Commitment lets you start, consistency lets you finish. Why is it so hard to achieve these 3, 4, or 5 easy things? Because success means to transform the obvious into the daily. That means I know what I need to do in order to let my business flourish. But success means, you know, to apply what I know into my daily workflow. Just to apply it, to do it, and not finding excuses for it. It's a list of obvious things. Don't you agree? Let me know, because I feel like, hey guys, we're living in 2024. Like, this is the time of YouTube University. We can find out pretty much anything about everything, or we can have different opinions on it. Everybody can get educated in astrophysics by tomorrow. This is how easy it has become. So everything is pretty obvious, if you ask me. You just look it up and then you kind of, make a plan and then you just be consistent about it. But the thing is that people nowadays are distracted. And the system wants to take away that focus even more. Every day it's getting increasingly more difficult to concentrate, to focus, to find a clear path through the daily jungle. And that is the reason why some people sometimes get lost and don't see the forest because they're standing in front of a tree. And it's like I said in the beginning, we're getting into this mode where we get enamored with the process rather than falling in love with the solution. We're flirting with the problem all the time. Oh, it's so nice. Oh, yes, that's a problem. I need to improve. I need to go to my shrink tomorrow. I need to go to him next week. I need to go to him. I'm sorry, shrinks, right? It's just not just, I need to go there. I need to do this. And once I perform all these habits, I'm a better person. Not really. It just means, yes, okay, maybe you're consistent about your habits, but if you don't learn adequately, if you don't analyze them effectively, if you don't really practice, and if you just see them as an occasion to clean yourself out, then, well, you're paying for some entertainment, but it's not self-improvement. You're getting entertained by these different sources of noise, but it's you're not really improving. You're distracting yourself, rather. And that's okay but you just have to realize that there is a huge difference between going somewhere and actively doing something about that. Thank you. Right? This is why at the COACHMC studio, when you work with us, I give you assignments, right? We just don't provide the service. No, I want you to improve. That's why we give you assignments. And my clients in the beginning, they're always shocked. It's like, so you wanted me to, yes, this is homework. Please do it. You pay me to improve you and your product. So you trust me that I can do this, right? So if you really trust me, then when I give you assignments, make sure to complete those assignments before our next session, because, I'm not just giving them to keep you occupied. I'm giving them because it's an implementation. It's a continuation of what we did actively during the session. It's just there to make you even better, to deepen, to stratify it even deeper what we just processed in the session. So by doing them, you use your time more effectively, because by the next session, you will have learned so much more and you will be able to receive even more information and process that. Because guys, like I said, it's all about the focus. People are just distracted. They don't they don't do this on purpose. You know, they're just, you know, they're triggered by the material. They grab their phones and they're in this constant distraction loop. And what I propose is this constant concentration loop, even though it sounds slightly edgy and sketchy. No, but just be constantly concentrated. When you work, you work. And if work is creative work, everything that you do outside of that just brings you back to that creative work. Thank you so much. Isabelle Strasser, I understand you perfectly. Thank you. Hello from Switzerland. Hello back. Thanks so much for clinging in today. No, it's, to me, everything that is not art is a distraction. And so therefore I hate doing it. But yes, of course, it makes me stronger. But in the end, it just gives me the opportunity to then create art and be proud of what I do. And so therefore it reinforces my belief that this is the reason why I'm here in the first place. So it kind of goes back and forth, right? The cycle kind of nourishes it himself, right? And make sure to subscribe. Just throwing this in there. Make sure to subscribe. And once you've tasted art, once you've tasted like having success in art, getting that feedback, getting a good check, getting acknowledged for your work, getting positive reviews, getting great critique, getting, introduced in more and more circles, and finally getting recognized. This is where the party starts. This is not the end. So therefore, the self-improvement means it's just that you keep constant focus on that. Everything that you do on the side is just entertainment. Just realize that. It's okay. Don't judge yourself. Don't denigrate. Because everyone has his own rhythm. I'm not proposing one rhythm for everyone, right? I'm not proposing one method because, again, we're back to fascism or neo-Marxism, whatever you want to call it. In the end, it's pretty similar if you think about it, right? It's the same function, right? Keep it in this. No, this is not. Everybody functions slightly differently, but just be aware how you function. How much do you need? You know it yourself better than anyone else, right? So take what's necessary and put it in there every time you want to create. And just everything outside of that is just entertainment and just a little distraction to get your mind a bit, fettered up, and then put a boom, or just, lift it up a little bit, or just distracted, escapism, whatever you want to call it. And also insight. I mean, movies, of course, are also sources of great insight, sure. Books are sources of great insight as well, even comic books, of course. But to me, everything is part of that practice of putting it always back to that original channel. It's all water for the mill. My channels of water are always kind of redirected to the one big mill where I grind everything out day by day. My mind works like that now. And this is how I assimilate all the knowledge. I absorb, digest, and kind of and put it out there again, but in visual and scripture and vocal and songs and videos, whatever it is. And coming back to that principle also, that shows like what we did with Saturday Night Hypnosis, that now we have Eric July from the Rippaverse on the show, because now we're getting so big and so acknowledged because exactly of that. And that is true for all the fields that we're occupying. Alessandra, my wife and I, we have a certain way of functioning. And that reinforces our belief. We come into a new town, we network the hell out of people, we follow up, we're trying to be generous, friendly, positive, always concentrated on making the product better and informing us, rather she informs. No, we have our missions, right? And we all kind of contribute to this great stream of what the COACHMC studio is in order to make you better. So this is what we believe. And through that, we reinforce ourselves, because we have to learn new skills, we have to adapt to new circumstances, we have to come up with new ideas. In the end, this is self-improvement. So both things are working now cohesively, organically, and naturally together. There is a result-driven mechanism that was put into place, a structure that works, and that is reinforced through, a daily reinforcement. And again, this is, of course, according to your workflow, according to your rhythm and everything else. But don't forget that it's not going to happen overnight because, just dream about it. You do have to actively change sometimes. You do have to redirect the stream of your energy, of your concentration. And you just have to kind of, sometimes just take notes. What is it that on a daily basis you perform, and how much time is just entertainment? And can I reduce that amount of entertainment and put it into a bit more effective workflows, or is it really necessary? Probably not. So take more entertainment out and put it into more concentration for your original purpose, for your original workflow, because that, again, is the best entertainment, because it's what we then perceive from our actions and not consuming other actions. Makes sense, right? It's way more satisfying to acknowledge something and to recognize a pattern that was born out of your impulse, instead of just consuming the result of someone else's impulse. I hope that helped. It definitely helped me. It was a beautiful opportunity to hang out with you guys. And I feel this is, everything kind of comes together when we talk about history and the ancient past, like we do with Ryan Roger Athay and Dragon Slayer commentaries, when we have our, when we try to shed some light into the mysteries of the past, when we connect with creators, with coaches, with actors, when we have our talks and acting shows, comedians, where we just, want to learn from their experiences and kind of, just hear their stories, basically asking them how they did it and what they're learning and how they improve. When we go out to these festivals, to these network events, like we did yesterday in Miami, we went to Filmgate. Filmgate this month, the festival was dedicated to comedy. And so we saw all the final products, all the final movies that were kind of sent in, and sitting there and watching all these creators, sending in all these weird flicks and enjoying these products, these creative products. When we're doing all these things, it's, of course, time consuming, energy draining, and sometimes frustrating because of transportation, because of lack of results, or because we're not immediately kind of having like a tangible, something that we get out of that. But in the end, like when we come home and kind of reflect on everything and kind of look through the business cards and think about, future endeavors, we realize how privileged we are, how beautiful this process is. How many new names, ideas, shows, scripts, expertises, portfolios, and productions and people and temperaments we've experienced over the past almost 12 months. And this is a great addition to the creation, because that makes art unique. It kind of needs a lot of these 50% transactional endeavors that need just to, it's like preparing your canvas before you paint. But in the end, they kind of create the magic too, because they make you want the first thing even more, even harder. They increase the burning desire. They reinforce our belief in what we're doing. They solidify our actions, our words, and our thoughts, and they crystallize it in even more effective actions, thoughts, and ideas. And so therefore, you're just creating more success for yourself. Don't set success on the same level with money or like wealth in general. It has nothing to do with that. It's also your responsibility at a certain point to create the right channel, so all of your endeavors can be then also transmuted partially into a monetary stream, of course, but that is not the reason. That comes in secondary as a natural byproduct, because you're doing the right thing, quite literally. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope everything we discussed today in the doodle was kind of what is interesting and intriguing. If so, please make sure to share this content also with someone you deem someone you love so much that you want to show him this. So it's like, hey, you need to see this, right? Share with someone who needs to see this. Share with someone who needs to kind of, maybe get a nice just a little butt kick, right? It's like, hey, look at this, right? Maybe you need this. Maybe you need to wake up, or maybe you need to reinforce something that you're doing already. So share this content with someone that you love, that you think needs to see this. See you next Tuesday. It's going to be 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with the crazy Ryan Roger essay and Dragon Slayer commentaries, where we're going to talk about the Bronze Age. Yes. Isn't that entertaining and funny? But believe me, guys, like always, it's going to be a hell of an episode where we're going to dive deep into history, our ancient past, and try to shed some light into the mysteries of antiquity. And on Saturday, we have Eric Julian, Saturday Night Hypnosis, episode 89, I believe it is. It's amazing. And please, go and subscribe to all of the panel members of Saturday Night Hypnosis. They really deserve it. They grind out so much diverse and beautiful content. Also subscribe and like, of course, our channel. It goes such a long way to support our endeavors. Follow me on Instagram, on Telegram, on Twitter, on TikTok, and catch me live on Saturday, on Tuesday, and on Thursday every week of the year. Isn't that crazy? Of course, there will be some exceptions, but most of the year I'm going to be online 3 times a week. And if you think like, hey, I'm an artist, I want to improve, then readytoperform.com is your address. Just hit me a DM and just hit me an email. Let's set up a discovery session. It's a no strings attached type of, exploration session where you tell me your story, what your mission you believe is, and why you want to get better. And I tell you what I usually do and what I believe we could do. And if we find out that we're a great match for each other, then definitely we should start an adventure to improve your portfolio, to improve your speech, to improve your communication, to, improve your acting, improve your bookings, all this stuff that we talked about. We can do it together. It's a collaboration. Definitely also look me up for my masterclass, April 27th, this Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The tickets are down there in the description on my IG link tree. And just generally, if the masterclass is something that interests you, then definitely come around, take notes, talk to the people, because it's a great opportunity to explore me from a different perspective and explore art also from a different perspective. And the reason why we're doing these for free, even though we're releasing, multiple plethoras of gold info bombs there, the reason why we're doing this is because we truly believe in the community. Like, we want to give you guys all the tools you need. And it shouldn't cost anything besides the energy, the time that we invest. Like we said at the beginning of the show, ultimately, that's the frontier, the time that we invest. So we rather do it in a way where we improve, so we get the most out of our investment, because it's going to be over in a blink of an eye. And we don't want to sit on the other side of this beautiful universe and think, oh, I should have. Or I regret this, and then, no, we shouldn't regret anything. By the end, this chapter is closed. We should be just happy about having learned so much. And we can only learn if we're curious enough to explore a lot of new stuff. So definitely come around to the masterclass. It's a great opportunity, really kind of, and we believe it's there for a reason to make you guys better, to have access to culture in an unbiased way, because as soon as you're paying, you're seeing it as a service. And we also want to, catch the latest trends. We also need to learn from you guys. And for us, this is a great opportunity. As soon as you ask money for it, it becomes a service, and therefore you're the customer, and you kind of, there's a different mindset behind that. And so for once a month, we want to be free of any restrictions, of any chains from society, from capitalism, right? From any intrusion from the capitalistic machine. We want to kind of encounter you and meet you on an open level field and play as much as we can and have fun. And this is why we're doing them always for free, and they will always stay for free. So, da Roma, Domenico Manes. Ciao, Lorenzo da Roma. It's beautiful. We have Switzerland, we have Rome, we have Germany, Bamberg. Yes, Bamberg, beautiful city, Bamberg. We have United States. We have a lot of people today. Beautiful. Thank you so much, everybody, for stopping by. Thank you so much for being part of this community. See you on Saturday for the masterclass and late at night on Saturday Night Hypnosis. Otherwise, next Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with the next Open Class Doodles, episode 30. And now, yes, I believe you guys are ready to perform.